Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. Now, guys, if you are enjoying these episodes, please support the channel by pressing the like button and subscribing. It helps me out a ton. And also, the question of today is, what's the first thing you're going to be doing when the crisis is over? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm really interested in seeing you guys' answers. Also, by the way, make sure you follow me over on Twitter because I post a couple of cool things on here every so often. So make sure you follow it to never miss out on any updates again. Alright, guys, so generally about crypto, I guess everything is doing pretty okay. I mean, I expected the prices to do quite a lot worse following such a big run up. And right now, XRP is down 5%, Bitcoin down 0.5%, XLM down 5.5%, and thus we're going down a little bit, but not as much as I expected. However, today I want to start the video off with something that I think is quite sad, and I want to make it act as a little bit of a warning. So it is from Christopher Parrish, who said, "I was scammed by a Google Chrome app. They drained 19.3 thousand XRP from my account. I was able to track this info down, and they are scamming hundreds of people. I reported them to Ripple and the FBI, and I was hoping the XRP community could track them down. My transaction is number 6 on the list." And there's a little bit of shout out to him, I guess, for just being this open and sharing what happened, and also a little bit of a warning and I guess a search party for you. First of all, if there's anything you can do, please make sure you help these people out because it hurts so bad. And another thing is just make sure you never get scammed by these Chrome art or Chrome apps or Chrome extensions, because what they do is they act as if they are, something but they aren't, and you have to fill something in, or they take over something on your computer. Basically, all I trust is like the ad blocker app, like the most used one, which has like 10 million downloads, or at least. For the rest, I would never download a Chrome extension. Maybe like one or two that I really have used for years. But for the rest, I would never download something new. I would just download a program that is from the official website. That's just trying to really mediate, or trying to mitigate the risk as much as possible. But again, if you want a safe way to store your coins, make sure you buy a hardware wallet. Link is in the description below. I personally use it, and it works like a charm. Alright, this actually was a reply to the Bearable Bull, who said, "It takes 2,666 XRP to be in the top 10% of the new 1%. That's $600. It takes 71,332 XRP to be in the top 1% of the new 1%. I don't know what you guys want from this life, but XRP is the vehicle to get it." Well, basically, to get into the top 1% of the newer supposed wealth class or whatnot, or the newer 1% of the enlightened ones, I don't know, you only need 71,000 XRP. And I guess 99% of us will not have that, but it's also, I guess, the point, right? To become the 1%er, possibly eventually of the world, you gotta have some money, And it's a lot, but it's kind of cool to see it's actually so accessible. Because, 71,000 XRP divided by 5, I think is the easiest way to do those type of things. By the way, I always am a little bit confused when calculating XRP, because I'm so used to it being like 25 cents from the past that I always mess up the counting somewhere along the road. But let's say, for example, we choose, I guess we can just choose 20 cents. We just divide it by 5, and it will mean about $14,000 that you would need to become the top 1%. It's a lot of money, but it's pretty accessible for any normal person, right? It might take a year or so of work, or maybe even a couple of years of work. But even then, to get into the top percent, to top 1%, that's pretty crazy, I find. Some people might even just have that to invest already. That's pretty insane. So that's just a cool statistic to really know about and to have right there. All right, another one, a little fact, comes from Galgatron. He says on Twitter, "In Q1 of 2020, total XRP sales were $1.75 million. That is actually versus the $13.08 million in the previous quarter. That's the fourth quarter of 2019. So basically, in these first 3 months of the year, they only sold $2 million worth of XRP. And last year, the last quarter, they sold about $13 million. So any excuse stating that Ripple is dumping XRP on us has now become quite invalid. Are they selling some? Yes. Is this dump relevant at all? Not really at all. So, yes. All right. Binance CEO proclaims Bitcoin FOMO mode as exchange hits record trading volume. The trading volume on Binance has been completely mental, and the current $16.6 billion is a record high, nearly $7 billion higher than the $11 billion high Zhao announced yesterday. So here we're actually talking about whole numbers. Like also we're talking about the amount of transactions going on every day, and I believe we're talking about aggregate trading volume, like combined out of all of the collective, because I don't necessarily know if in 2017 or 18 actually, when the big bull run was going on, if they had this amount of volume. I know for a fact though that Bitcoin now hit another record at $12.6 billion in just Bitcoin, which is completely mental. But I don't know if this number here is actually coming from Bitcoin or the complete crypto as a whole on Binance. I think, excluding Tether, I don't know for sure. I don't really care too much because I know it's cool and all, but really doesn't matter for all of us. Well, no. All I stated before already was that this whole movement up and most likely the movement down as well is supported by a lot of volume, meaning it's not just some crazy illiquidity, which some people have been claiming before. I personally know that's not really the truth, at least that's my personal opinion. I don't think it's too illiquid of a market, which made the prices rise. I think it's a well-supported move, but, some people decide differently. A little bit of a question came up as well today. Is Binance getting too big? Well, CZ responded. In an exclusive interview with Cointelegraph, Binance founder CZ responded to concerns about the size of the company. Cointelegraph conducted an interview with him, with the Binance founder and chief executive Changpeng Zhao during Virtual Blockchain Week. During the discussion, CZ addressed concerns from the crypto community regarding the size and influence of Binance amid the firm's increasing acquisitions and horizontal expansions. I think one of the main things they're talking about right there is the acquisition of CoinMarketCap, basically kind of pointing towards Binance taking over the whole freaking crypto space, all the sources and everything, which might push it all in terms of Binance's favor. Because really one thing they could do now is, even if they were the second biggest exchange, if on CoinMarketCap they were to make it look like they were top one, some other metric sites, and maybe in the end run, they could really become number one on paper, even though in real numbers they might not really be, just because they had so much control. CZ says, the free market works. On the topic of Binance's increasing presence within the crypto ecosystem, CZ stated, I think basically there's two sides to it. So there's the worry about we're too big or not, and then there's the why are users choosing us? If we abuse the power that we have and then abuse our influence, then people would not choose us, which is definitely true. So we are quite big, but the reason we're growing is not because we are abusing a monopolistic power, he stated, adding, there's like thousands of other exchanges. The competition is very fierce. Definitely true as well. People naturally have those kinds of worries, but rest assured, we want to continue to provide value to his users, not destroy value, and the free market works. If we abuse it, people will leave. He has a certain point, not a very good one, because if there's one thing that's mainly used by everybody, even if it sucks, like for example how right now people are like, well, YouTube isn't good in some of the ways it does things, like for example the censorship, but still everybody decides to use it because there's everybody who's using it, right? And same goes for BitMEX at sometimes, or same goes for Coinbase. Those things, they all kind of suck in their operations. They're always like buggy in times where you don't want them to be, and they're always kind of working against you, it feels like. However, we're still sticking around just because those are the biggest ones and the most present ones out there. Those are the ones we all use, so you're going to be staying, which is pretty normal. It's normal human behavior. And thus, if we abuse it, people will leave. It's not so true either, because they can abuse it without most people noticing. Maybe some small geeks, some small people who really care and notice will, leave. But let's say that's about 1%. If they lose 1%, Binance not going to care because they still got the 99% in there. So I don't agree with that all the way either. Bitcoin halving. A new class of Bitcoin millionaires may emerge. It's something we got to keep in the back of our head, by the way, that this is again another little spot just now, really, really closely here, where a lot of millionaires and a lot of really, really big changes can be happening. Millionaires in the sense of, everybody's just invested a couple, let's say, for example, a couple of tens of thousands of dollars. They might just switch over to, just being a normal investor to a really freaking rich guy in a matter of a week or two. It's really crazy how fast it could happen because we really don't know what this halving is going to bring, but there's a couple of crazy things which can occur. Will it happen? Most likely not, but it could. And I think this is one of the biggest shots we got. Either side, though. It could also be a pump and dump. Could be nothing happening at all. Price could down like crazy. But also, because the halving is so soon, we could also see a run-up just happen before it, which again, might result in a lot of money being made for a lot of people. XRP faces retracement under 20 cents, but another rise won't be surprising. Well, that's basically the whole Bitcoin, or the whole crypto market as a whole. I mean, another rise coming up from here is not something I would really be looking at with a crazy face. But talking about XRP specifically right here, I don't think that's too smart. I don't think that's necessary because I don't think they pull the strings right now. I think XRP is actually really, really in a good correlation with XLM. I mean, we're seeing it from the numbers right now, but we've also seen it in the numbers a couple of days ago where XLM ran up first, XRP decided to follow, and then the whole crypto market started to move with it. For all the time, I guess, right now would be the best time to go for an XRP specific analysis. However, I think we'll see it in general crypto trends, what's going to happen right now. I don't think XRP will do something that's so completely odd following TA. I think if it's going to be a big move, it will most likely not follow TA regardless. And otherwise, it's most likely going to be, coming either from Bitcoin or with Bitcoin's moves. And Bitcoin might react to TA. It might at least have something to do with it. And that might be a little bit better to check out. Mike Novogratz says, Bitcoin, gold are setting themselves up for a multi-year bull market. Part 2. The Bitcoin bull, Mike Novogratz, believes every portfolio needs inflation hedges for the economic downturn that is upon us. The Galaxy Digital CEO owns both Bitcoin and gold in his portfolio, and Bitcoin is earlier in its life cycle than its rival store of value asset that makes crypto a unique opportunity. By the way, do you guys have any good places to buy gold? Like, is there anything which everybody uses or something like that? Because I believe on one of my investment websites, they do allow you to buy a certain type of gold, but I actually have never watched too much. I've never really tried. I mean, I have gold, but it's physical, but I'm talking about online gold, like to have it. You guys know what I mean. Like to buy the stock, the same way you buy stocks, you buy like just a little bit of gold in line. I don't think I've ever, maybe like once I bought it, but I don't really do it that often. I'm like, is there something you guys usually go for? One certain website or, service which you use to buy that? Or is it on everywhere and I've just never really took the time to notice? Let me know about that. I mean, there's a couple of indexes which I believe are on some of my platforms as well that have it, but I've never really checked. To be completely honest, I've never really checked. Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, and Top Trader reveals when it's the best time to buy Bitcoin after the move to $9,500. Trader Michael van der Poppe determines a new range for buying Bitcoin, and again is the Dutch analyst, and I find it very fascinating that he's getting so much attention, by the way. It's kind of interesting. I mean, is this website Dutch as well? Or how is he so known all around the world? Dutch guy, pretty cool. Something pretty interesting. The chartist advises his followers to buy the blood after the FOMO-driven rally while everyone is sitting in panic in anticipation of the lower numbers. Yeah, I can't open the video. I don't know about copyright too much. Van der Poppe sarcastically congratulated all those who bought the top of the rally above $9,400. In the video, he cautions traders against following the herd. Never ever buy into that. There's always a retest, always a retrace going. Not completely true. Depends on how far we are. Because I guess in the broader theory, it is true. There's always going to be a retest and a retrace in like theory, I should state, because there are chances where you're like, um, gonna be seeing the price move very freaking fast, very freaking far, right? If you guys get me right there. Maybe in the video he's talking about a certain point where he went to 9,400, then 300 ish, and maybe a little bit back above, and people decided to buy back then, or maybe just afterwards, right then and there. A couple of points I can understand where he would be coming from right then and there. However, there's definitely a couple of possibilities that we don't get to this price ever. I'm like doing my fingers like the bunny ears, because it is possible to go for a couple of days without returning, and we don't know how far the Bitcoin price would go back down for, right? It's always kind of difficult to state. I would most likely still follow his advice of saying, never buy the top. However, if you just want to get into crypto, you want to get it over with, I'm not going to say you shouldn't follow the herd, because sometimes it might just mess you up too much by waiting. You might be waiting for days, waiting for a better point to buy into. And when you don't see it happening, or the price keeps going up every day by 10%, and you don't know when to get in, you might miss it out all the way. So I don't know if that's the best advice to give. Maybe just watch out that you don't buy at the highest point of the day. If we've been going on for such a big rally, maybe that's a little bit of advice, but whatever, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something new. If you did, make sure you press the like button. See you guys again in another crypto video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to check out my second channel called Dusty Finance. Don't forget to buy yourself a hardware wallet. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.